about Young Miami's lyrics to her latest song, and I gotta be honest, I think she's a little bit right, a little bit wrong, but definitely right. This doesn't feel like rocket science. The lyrics don't match where we are culturally and where we're headed, right? One, Diddy's in jail. Clive Davis just died. And Jay-Z's empire, his influence on the culture is waning. So yeah, we understand, we're learning more and more about our history that they have hidden from us. We're connecting dots. And yeah, we understand that the gatekeepers of music, yeah, they're dying. Celebrity culture is dying. Hollywood is dying. And we're all going to be the better for it. We now know the way record labels and distribution companies and all of them worked together to limit what type of artists would be promoted, what lyrics they were allowed to say. And usually it was something that was harmful to the community. It wasn't anything uplifting. It wasn't anything that really reflected our true lives. It was simply effing, stealing, and killing. That's it. And then maybe a little bit of fun. I guess that's where the effing part comes in. So she's right about that. She's a little bit wrong because I don't know that she's done the work to decenter her personal ideologies. Because this isn't the first time that she said something out loud that felt like it was targeting women. I'm gonna stop there real quick because I did not know who Young Miami is. Not my tea. Too old, not interested. But I do know about Carisha. That's that sister that was with Diddy. So it's a hard no. There's nothing young about her. She's 32. Brain fully developed. Harmful to women. Harmful to children, I would even say. So it's a hard no. If you are complicit with the monsters, you are the monster. So I have zero interest in what she has to say unless she's adding to testimony that's going to keep that man in jail along with anybody else that was complicit.
Okay, you guys, Young Miami is out here being petty. And honestly, I don't blame her, because this whole thing started with Arie coming for her song. Here's the situation. Young Miami's song Spin That got a standing ovation at the BET Awards the moment it started playing as she walked out to present. That's huge. The song has already been crowned Song of the Summer, and it's sitting at number 25 on the Billboard charts. Big win for her career. But Arie was not here for it. Right after the show, she posted on Twitter, "The mass acceptance of this song is a crystal clear sign of a bigger problem. I finally realized not everybody wants to get free, and it was a very rude awakening." Other people jumped in too, with one person literally calling for a boycott, saying the song is degrading to the culture and that this can't be the song of the summer. India followed up saying she spent her whole adult life caring too much, but she's finally accepted that not everybody cares the same way she does, and that everything you listen to, watch, or consume ends up influencing you. Now, if you've followed Arie over the years, none of this is surprising. She built her whole career going against the grain. Her music was always positive, uplifting, empowering to women, and to us as a people. So it makes sense her values would clash hard with a song like Spin That. But once she said her piece, the backlash toward Young Miami got real. And I noticed something interesting watching this play out. There's a pretty clear age divide. Folks in their 40s, 50s, and up are dragging the song hard. Younger people are mostly just enjoying it. Not universal, but that's the general pattern I'm seeing. Then things got messy. Jay Will, the producer behind Spin That, posted a video mixing the song with Arie's own hit, seemingly throwing shade right back at her. Young Miami hopped in the comments herself, telling Jay Will to turn me up, mad face emojis included. Petty, and honestly, kind of funny. India clearly saw all the noise, because she went on Instagram to clear a few things up directly. First thing she addressed, the reports that she wants people to boycott the song. She shut that down. Her actual position is that she doesn't think we should boycott anything. She just wants people to understand the power that words and music have, and to make choices that are healthy for them. She was clear that she's not trying to control what anyone does. In her words, she's finally accepted that no amount of her pouring her energy into it is going to make somebody want something different for themselves. All she can do is stand for what she stands for and hope it reaches the people it's meant to reach. So to be clear, her comment was never boycott this song. It was, not everybody wants the same thing, and if you think it's just a song, fine, enjoy it. But she's traveled the world twice and seen firsthand what gets exported globally from the Black American experience. And she knows music carries real weight. That's the whole point she was making. But here's the bigger question she raised, and honestly, it's the one worth sitting with. Why is everyone drawing the line at Young Miami's Spin That? Because nobody said a word when we were bumping NWA. Nobody said anything while we were blasting the explicit lyrics from Biggie and Tupac. Nobody blinked when Lil Kim was hitting #1. Everybody was in the club with their friends turning all the way up to Kia's My Neck, My Back. That's an all-time hood classic. Every auntie and uncle knows that song. We still play it at every function. Not to mention decades of explicit rap lyrics that have degraded women and glorified violence, consistently, with barely a peep from the community. So why, all of a sudden, is a song about boosting and scamming where everybody wants to plant a flag? If this was really how the community felt about this kind of content, we would have put a stop to it a long, long time ago. Instead, it feels like a whole lot of selective outrage. And that's really the deeper layer here that a lot of people are missing when they react to India's comments. Nobody's saying Young Miami doesn't deserve her moment. Genuinely, it's a good thing to see someone who was counted out create something that actually connects and succeeds. The song is catchy, it's playing at cookouts and get-togethers all summer, and that's fine on its own. We can be happy for her and still have this conversation. Those two things aren't in conflict. But there's a difference between a song your friend group jams to in the car on the way to the club, or your family plays while you're all around the table playing dominoes, and a song that becomes a certified global hit with constant radio play and mainstream celebration on a massive scale. Those are two completely different levels of reach. That level of commercial acceptance is what India was actually pointing at. Not that scam culture in music is new, but that it's now being embraced and rewarded at a scale we haven't really seen before. Compare it to something like Lil Kim. A lot of her most chaotic, most explicit records were never the ones getting that kind of commercial push or radio rotation. The songs people love to bring up in comparison usually didn't reach anywhere near this level of mainstream celebration. And if you actually go back and listen to the lyrics people are citing before making the comparison, you'll notice they're often not even in the same category as what Spin That is actually celebrating. It's not that this is the first song of its kind. It's that the growing acceptance of it, at this scale, marks a real shift because 20 years ago, this level of embrace simply wouldn't have happened the same way. That's the actual point India's making. It's not that the content itself is unprecedented, it's how widely and openly it's now being celebrated. And it doesn't stop at this one song. Look at how drill music has basically become the default centerpiece of hip-hop right now, to the point where anything outside of it gets treated as lame or outdated. Rewind 20-25 years and hip-hop had way more range. Street records, conscious records, party records, all coexisting. Now the center of gravity has shifted hard toward one lane, and that's part of what's fueling this whole conversation. Some people think India's take is a little off, and honestly, there's a case for that too. This isn't the first time she's said something that came off like it was aimed at women specifically, and some feel like she hasn't fully unpacked her own personal lens before speaking on other women's art. That's a fair critique to hold alongside everything else, and it's worth sitting with rather than dismissing outright. But at the same time, a lot of what she's pointing at lines up with where the culture actually is right now. Diddy's sitting in jail. Clive Davis just passed. Jay-Z's grip and influence on the industry is visibly loosening. The old gatekeepers who controlled what got promoted, what lyrics were considered acceptable, and who got a platform in the first place are losing their grip in real time. And we're learning more every day about how those systems actually worked behind the scenes. Usually pushing content that wasn't uplifting, wasn't reflective of our real lives, just a cycle of the same handful of themes dressed up in new packaging over and over. Celebrity culture is shifting. The old machine that used to decide what got amplified and what got buried is not as untouchable as it used to be. So say what you want about her delivery or her track record, but the underlying observation isn't coming out of nowhere. It's landing at a moment when a lot of people are already questioning who's been controlling the narrative and why. It's also worth saying, not everyone jumping into this conversation is doing it in good faith or with a clear read on who's involved. Some people even use this moment to bring up completely unrelated things, mixing Young Miami up with other public figures entirely, or using the conversation as an excuse to air out grievances that have nothing to do with the song itself. That's part of what happens once something goes viral. The original point gets buried under everyone's personal takes, old beefs, and unrelated opinions. And that's honestly where this whole thing sits. A legitimate cultural conversation about what we celebrate and why, tangled up with some very online pettiness between two artists throwing shade in the comments. Both things can be true at once. You can enjoy a catchy summer record and still ask why this is the line, when so much has come before it without the same reaction. So I want to know, how do you feel about all this? Are you playing Spin That all summer regardless, or do you think India's onto something real about where the culture is headed? Drop your take in the comments. I read every single one, and I'll catch you in the next video.